Welcome back to the video, guys. Last weekend we got a ton of rain, close to 100 mils. We got about 3 inches and 8/10, and that's more than what we usually get. I asked my dad and he can't even remember the last time that we got this much rain in a single shot. Must have been back in 2010. It was super wet back then, and so we got tons of moisture in the ground now, and the yard got pretty flooded. So right after that rain was done, the afternoon that it finished it raining in the morning, and I got the drone up in the afternoon here just so I could show you guys how much water is left everywhere around the yard. Today a lot of it is dried up. This is by the pits now, but when we got that rain, it was pretty soaking wet out here. So this is what that looked like. This afternoon we also had the tub grinder come out and grind up some straw bales. I'll show you guys some clips of that in a second here. Basically, he comes, we got a pile of round straw bales right over there. It's mostly barley straw, and he grinds it up into smaller pieces, chunks that are probably less than an inch long. And this is so that we can mix that straw in our TMRs, specifically for the dry cows and close-up cows and young bred heifers. And the reason why we get it chopped up so small is because if we just left it long, maybe we can grind those bales up in the feed wagon, but it's not gonna get it super fine. And the reason why we need it so fine is that the cows don't sort through the silage and get out all of the grain. And it makes it a lot easier for the cow to sort right past that straw. She will not eat that. She'll wait till the end until she gets a little bit hungry, and then she'll eat that straw once it's the only thing left if we don't grind it up so small. So that happened this afternoon too, and this is what that looked like. We had the straw blasted right in this bunker here because we have enough exposed bunk now. It's nice to get it on some concrete floor, easier to scoop. We won't get any sand in there either this way. And this is a 20-meter wide pit and 8-foot tall walls. Yeah, I know, 20 meters wide, 8 feet tall, and 65 meters long. But if we don't have enough room, which we don't, for the feed that we want to make, we have to put piles on the ground. And last year, I think we had 3 or 4 piles made out over there. So the way these pits are covered up, we put tires on top of the plastic, and on the edge, on the ground, we dump a bunch of dirt. In the wintertime, when we're taking plastic off, we just come and scrape the dirt and the plastic onto piles here, and that leaves us with a really big mess to clean up in the spring every year. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. I'm just gonna grab all those piles of dirt, shake them all out over here, I think, and try and get the dirt as light as possible that's on top of that plastic, so I can just pull the plastic out by hand. And that's typically how we always do this. I got that entire ridge along that pit shaken out, sand and the plastic are separated for the most part, and now comes the fun part where I get to grab it all by hand and put it on a nice big pile so we can throw it in our garbage pit. That's looking pretty good. We got 4 piles, one there, there, and there. Now we're just gonna pick them up with the loader, pile them up behind the trees there probably, and then we'll be able to push all of this dirt up onto a nice big pile. We'll just leave it around here for when we make some more pits this summer, and then we'll have a lot of easy dirt to grab when we're lining the edges of some new pits. It's a pretty nice pile. There's still a little bit of plastic in there, but that doesn't really matter because we're just going to continue to use that to line those pits. This is a new attachment we got for our skid steer. It's a bed buster from Hatfield Manufacturing, and this is going to help us keep our bed super soft for the milk cows. We're in the freestall barn now, and this is where we're going to be using that bed buster. We use sand bedding in our beds here, and we get our own sand from behind the barn there. We dig a pit and bring it up into the barn here and use that for bedding. Now that sand has a real tiny bit of clay in there, and this causes the bedding here to pack pretty solid after the year and a half or so that the cows have been in this barn. It's gotten to the point where there's some pretty hard patches in here, and the cows need to be laying on a soft bed. A common test to do to make sure that your beds are soft enough for the cows is to just drop down on your knees in the bed like that, and just put all your weight down on your knees and fall on them. And if it hurts, your beds are too hard. Some spots I would be willing to do that in our freestall barn here, but others definitely not, and this is unfortunate. We didn't expect this to happen, and that's why we purchased this bed buster. So we're gonna go and see how that bed buster works out. It basically just folds down into the beds and comes along and rotor tills it out.
Just keep pushing it. That's how it rotates. Yeah, that's it.
tried it a little bit here earlier, so this stuff was already broken up, but the stuff it's doing right now is really hard packed sand. It shakes around a little bit, but it's super quiet and it just mows right through all that hard packed crap. She's pretty curious about the thing. Look how deep her feet sink into this sand. You can tell it's incredibly soft. And I'll just drop down on my knees here now just to show you guys how soft this stuff really is. So we got all the beds busted up and they're all nice and soft. I can drop on my knees in every single bed in the barn. And you can already tell the cows, they're liking it. More are laying down than usual. A lot of the beds are filled. And hopefully they just sleep more often. So today it took a super long time to get them all busted up because that was the first time we did it. Obviously those beds, they were super hard, and this thing, it'll go a lot quicker after, you know, a week or so when it's all busted up and the sand stays a little bit looser. And then once we got all the sand loose and it stays loose, we'll probably do it twice a week or something and then use our other bar just to make sure that the beds stay level. This is our other bar. It's just got a couple of spikes on there and it's way quicker than dragging that thing through. But this one doesn't till up the dirt like this thing does. We're really impressed with this thing. It's built super heavy. It weighs a ton and super quiet while running it. You would think there's a lot of moving parts in that thing. That it'd be super loud. You'd hear some grinding or something or ticking. There's nothing, it's just super quiet, and it does an absolutely phenomenal job of breaking up the sand in those beds and fluffing it up. We're impressed so far. So far, so good. Obviously, we've only ran it through all the beds once now. It's gonna have to see the test of time. Is that thing gonna last? How quickly does it wear out? Because sand wears stuff down super quickly. But just based off of today, it works exactly how we hoped it would. It does a perfect job fluffing those beds up, and we're really excited to finally get this thing. If you guys want to know more about that bed buster, I'll link their website down below this video. They're not sponsoring today's video. They didn't give us a deal on this thing. I just think it's a good piece of equipment, so I'm gonna link it down below. But that's gonna be it for today's video, guys. If you enjoyed, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons down below. Check out the Instagram @SassDutchKid, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.